My biggest thing is that generally my figures look stiff. Like, sure, I can use these for, as a base, and then I build upon them if I want to do an illustration and stuff like that. But generally I feel like I don't know that sometimes they're stiff. I don't know, the proportions are not so good. And generally, I've heard about, gesture drawing. The gesture
Yeah.
gives a little bit more movement. So I was wondering, how do you incorporate gesture with the rest of the figure drawing practices, which are, the building blocks, like cylinders and stuff like that? Like, how can you make a body made of simple shapes have more movement, more life to them?
I will show you, but already giving spoilers, you don't start by the shapes, you start by
Sure.
gesture. After starting by gesture, which is going to be pretty much a stickman, you are going to start to add anatomy. It can be muscles, it can be fat, it can be the shapes that you like doing, it can be the shapes. After adding anatomy, the very first layer of anatomy, you are going to take a whole step, a full step, just focusing into fixing. What is
Uh-huh.
this fixing step? You are going to look from far away, maybe reflect your canvas to see the opposite direction, mirror it so you can
Yeah.
see new details, new mistakes that you didn't get it. It's extremely important that while you're sketching, you get your time to just go there and say, oh, okay, I'm going to do this little fix here. Oh, I'm going to do this little fix here. Train your mind to say, hey, it's fine if I'm not getting this at first. It's fine. Don't let yourself
Hmm.
feel frustrated by not getting it first or second or third. Just go like, okay, and there's going to be a full step only fixing. I'm going to dedicate 30 full minutes only fixing. And probably what may even happen more is like, damn, I believe I'm not good enough. Did I forget the studies that I did? Did I forget
Yeah.
how to draw this? Those
Yeah.
questions are going to live with you. So the thing is, ignore
Right.
them. Ignore the monkey inside the head. After fixing, in fixing, it includes proportions, it includes maybe this perspective, this arm should go a little bit more towards the viewer, a little bit more far away from the viewer, all of those little fixes. And then only now, you're going to start adding the real sketch, the real line that you go like, this looks good. Only now you can go and say, here is a nice body. Only here at the end. It's like building a house. Before you can have that incredible house to live in, you gotta think of the pipes, you gotta think of electricity, you gotta think of all those, I don't like it, but it's necessary, you know? So these are the main steps that I'm going to show you right here, and I took a print screen of one of your drawings to show an example of adding gesture. When drawing gesture, we want to focus on movement. Think it's like a river, it's just going to keep on into following the same direction. Let's say this girl is stretching. What I'm going to do? Oh, first stretch line. Do you see what happened here? Already we are having changes. This area of the torso would be touching even more this corner, and here this feet
Okay.
would go a little bit more inside. Naturally, just by using movement, you can already see, oh, now things are starting to change. Now let's see the rest of the body. How would it work? The other arm, the other hand, the other side would go like, since this is stretching, let me just try to get some equilibrium. Let me just try to, I need to be not falling down. Am I falling down? No. Good. And here the head. Nice, just a circle. Again, we want very easy to understand and simple shapes, and then we are going to add everything above it. You don't want any kind of anatomy. You just want like, hey, if this was a cartoon from the 90s and it was a very far away character, would it make sense? Yes, good. And here this other side is stretching. Let's do the stretching movement. And here the legs connection. Legs. They're connecting. So now, just by doing this very simple, extremely simple line, can you see some stretching movements that are happening in the leg? That they were not happening as much? Or here in the torso, we're going to bend much more the hips. Or let this arm fall down much more. Now I'm just going to hide it just a little bit. Just a little bit. And now we are going to draw above it. Hey, head is still here. Nice. Love having a head. I love being able to think. Yeah. Neck is stretching a lot this side. Remember all this figure that we did here?
Uh-huh.
It is going to stretch a lot. And the shoulder here, and then fall down, fall down. I'm not focusing on this being the right anatomy. Do you see? Am I going to ask myself, oh, this proportion is wrong? No, no. This is not fixing step. I'm here just trying to find the movement with adding a bit of anatomy. It's fine if I do any mistake right now. I'm not going to judge myself till I kill my thoughts or get angry or anything like that. No, 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 it's fine. I'm not going to do anything crazy here. Oh, this area is bending strongly. Very strongly. Here, armpit stretching. TD, fall down. Go, TD. Use gravity.
Yeah.
Here, elbow, and then arm, and then hand. Now, do you see how much more organic it looks? The main thing that I see in your drawing is that you see each shape separated. You don't see them working together. As example, the hips here and the thighs just connect it. Just go all the way and connect it. Here, am I afraid that I'm going to lose the true movement of anatomy? Not as much as I am afraid of losing the movement of the whole picture.
Right.
So it's a matter of making the right priority. Are you going to make like the exactly shape of the thigh correct? Or just going like, yo, move.
Yeah.
Yo, it moves, so cool.
So basically, when you let's say you find a pose, let's say on Pinterest, and you wanna practice that pose, so you definitely start with a more gestural thing.
Yes.
And then you add more structural elements for the limbs, the torso, the and all that stuff. Yeah, I've always had this mixed up, because I've seen many tutorials and stuff like that on YouTube, but it's good to have so much information. But then you also get lost on it, you don't know how to start and in which sequence to do things, right?
Yeah, and that's my objective here today with you, to give you a clear route. Always start by the stick man. In this case, the stick girl is stretching its arm, and then you go for anatomy, and then you go for fixing it, and then for the true final drawing. Because if you mix everything, the chances of your mind just going like, oh wait, but there's a stretching, but here is also a bone right here, did you know? Hey, but there is also accumulation of fat here. Hey, but there's also a movement and then a dress. The chances of you feeling frustrated, feeling angry at your work, and trying or almost getting to the point of self-sabotaging you is so high. Always start by the most simple shape that you can. We want you to feel comfortable so you won't feel frustrated. It's great that you know these shapes here, but maybe you focus on doing the shape correct and you forget the big picture.
Right.
And this happens to me also. Sometimes I'm there just in a specific part of my drawing. I gotta detail this, but I didn't look far away and see the full picture if this place truly deserved that attention.
I had a question about figure drawings. Let me share my screen. Okay, so let's go to Pinterest. Let's go to lighting poses. And let's say that I find some pose here. Let's say this one, okay? So let's say that this inspires me to do something like that. But this is obviously drawn by some other artist. And let's say that I don't want to copy it like 100%. Like, I like what I'm seeing here. I like the huge, foreshortening here and stuff like that. I love the movement and all that stuff. But I don't want to copy it like 100%. Like, how would you go about this? Like, searching through Pinterest for dynamic poses like I'm doing, and let's say you find something really cool, but and you want to do something like that, but you don't really want to copy it exactly like this, but you still want to preserve the essence, may I say, of the action. Like, how would you go about drawing this without 100% copying another artist? Because I know it's fine drawing from references, like everyone is doing it and there's nothing wrong with it, but how do you separate drawing from reference and copying directly? Does that make sense? Like, if you want to
It
make
does.
an
It does.
illustration on your own, so
And the
how would you
first
go
thing,
about this?
it's a little bit funny because the first thing that I do, it is to copy. Why? Because I want to understand it. I'm not going to use it, I want to understand it. If I truly love that pose, I would totally be copying it just to understand, hey, I can only see the upper area of the chest, I can only see this other upper area, or only this specific side of the arm. I would copy it by looking at it, not by literally tracing, or just observing. And after copying it, I would think, in my drawing, let's say I'm doing a fan art, and my character has a bow, and it's trying to shoot. How would I change it? Now that I understand how the scene works, I would go thinking, hey, I like this perspective, so I'm going to keep this perspective, but I would also change this arm. So this is like holding the bow. The bow is right here. And here's the other hand. And if this is the very basic thing that I can know, that I'm going to change, all the rest becomes easier to understand how I want to change it. Why? Since I understand I want a bow right here in this perspective, this angle, I just think, hey, one hand is going to be here, right? So the arm is going to bend around here and around here. So this other arm is going to bend around here. And since it's using a bow, I don't want the legs exactly like this. I want this leg still going up, but this time just bending backwards. Bending backwards. And the other leg. This other leg, I don't really care about it. Why not keep on going, make it stretch like it's just falling down? Why not? Huh? Why not? Or keep it stretched like this? It don't really matter. But if you get the very basic premise, the very basic idea, all the rest becomes easy because you're going to always ask yourself if the rest makes sense based on that very first idea that it is shooting from the bow. Does this make sense? Should this head be like this if shooting from a bow? No, I would make the head go a little bit taller and it's trying to pick up the bow, trying to still go and shoot it. Does this make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Let me write it down so you can use it for tips. Copy it to understand. Draw main idea. Use main idea to change body pose. Reference is amazing, but reference again is just a reference. It's not exactly the idea you want to show people. I think I have an example. I have this simple sketch here, and you can see here the reference. I changed the hand here. I changed this hand. I was like, I'm going to change it. And the second one, I'm also going to change because I look at it, I was like, don't look interesting. I'm going to make it like trying to hold the flower. I'll change a little bit.
Okay. That was exactly my issue. Yeah, that was my question. Like, you see something really interesting, like a really nice reference. But you don't really want to copy it 100%, right? You want to make it yours. So you can totally do changes that fit nicely based on, cool, that's cool.
And since you are here until the end of the video, subscribe to get even more quality content to improve your art, and leave a like so we can share this with even more artists. Want to learn with me? Just go link in the description for my art course that is all in. You're awesome, champ! Bye bye!